I want to talk to you a little bit about the semester project that you're going to be working on. You have an option to do either what I call a self-study or a review of curriculum. Pretty much everything you do this semester can relate to whichever topic you choose. The expectations are the same for the most part for both of them. With option 2, you're purchasing a book. With option 1, it's more of a topic that you kind of decide upon. And one of those topics is doing a nature study or a moon journal, things like that. So I just kind of included a couple of different images here. This is a free image, free stock. And it's a quote by Einstein: "Look deep into nature and then you'll understand everything better." I think forcing ourselves to go out and to see things is going to help, especially after you do your photo journal. You're going to see things a little differently, I hope. And this is going to encourage you to explore that even more. So part of each of these, you're going to do some discussions. You have the choice of doing it either through video or through Google Docs. I think Hangouts is a much more beneficial method. At least that's what students have suggested in the past. You don't have to wait for somebody else to respond, and then you don't have to, it's over once you've had your conversation. And the way these Hangouts will work, if you choose option 1, you're going to almost self-select depending on the topic that you choose to do your journal on. And then the same for option 2. If you choose to review a curriculum, there are options that you can choose from. So I'm going to show you what those are. Okay, so for option 1, the self-study, I've included 2 pictures here because one of your options is to do a moon journal. And I have that as a month-long minimum. Each of these should have, if you choose to do one of these, it should have at least 30 entries. Now, that makes a lot of sense for a moon journal because I want you to see how things change. And the reason I've included these 2 pictures, you have a reference point. So if I go outside at the exact same time every night and I find a reference, and in this case it happens to be that tree, I'm going to see where the moon is in relation to that tree, and I'm going to sketch it however you want to do it. And if you go daily at the exact same time, you're going to notice things. And that's the part that I want you to get excited about, because that's the part that I want you to figure out how to take into your classroom. It's the same concept for a nature study. So maybe we're going to use this exact same tree as a reference. If I go out, and this doesn't have to be sequential 30 days if you're doing it just as the nature study. Maybe I go out day 1 and this tree has some leaves on it. I go out 4 days later and there are fewer leaves that I've noticed. So you're still noticing, but you're picking one thing to notice. It's the same concept as with the moon, but it's just more of a nature focus. You can make that choice as to what you want to pay attention to if this is one that you choose. You can also do a science fair project, and that's something I can kind of talk through with you as to what you might want to do. And the reason I suggest the science fair project is that's something a lot of people have their students do, and it's something that's really a good experience for your students. So a lot of these things that you see down here are repeated in option 2. So for this one, I want an overview of why you selected what you did, evidence of the project, explanation that connects 2 research-based articles. Once you get your topic and go through that, you're going to want to use your references. I want a lesson plan that's linked to the 5E format. If you click on this, it takes you to a specific website. And I think there may be there's a couple of different options in here. And then a 5 to 10 minute video of what you did, just kind of walking us through that process. Since we don't have a physical description, that's going to be really beneficial for you and your peers and your students in the classroom. I want you to review some practitioner-based journal articles. And, one of the things that you're going to go through the rest of the semester is a focus on culture. Look at projects that you can do that are inclusive of all students, of all cultural backgrounds. I think this is something that's important and really easy to do in science. Now, number 8 connects somewhat to number 6, but with this, I want you to specifically look at the NSTA resources. And that's something that you're going to see in the schedule. You have 3 different NSTA modules that you've got to complete, and you have some options on that. So depending upon the topic you choose, your reference, your articles and things that you look for in NSTA can relate to that topic. And then finally, number 9 on this one, you're going to do a web page. So one of the projects for the entire semester is a web page. This is going to be one section of that web page, and all of these things will be included in it. So for you, for number 9, is to go in and look at someone else's and kind of get some insight on what they did, what you learned from theirs that maybe you didn't do on yours. It's a way to just expand your resources. And then you're going to just create a short 2 to 3 minute public PSA that you share with that other person, and giving them some suggestions on things that maybe they didn't include or think about. This will make a lot more sense as we go through the semester, because you're going to have experience doing all of these individual things. All right, so I mentioned 5E. This link is in option 1 and option 2, but it just kind of goes through a quick reference for you. All right, so option 2 is a materials review. And I have this as almost a book club kind of thing. You have 3 books to choose from, and I do want you to choose only from this selection. I was very intentional in what I put here. A lot of these are nature-based, but they're also STEM-related. There are things that are pre-K through 2nd grade. Think about the grade level that you teach and how you could best use one of these resources. So it's basically the exact same setup as what you have at the top. Research-based articles, changes you would make. This is considering the resources already constructed. Okay, you're not having to go in and recreate that resource. It might seem like it's the easier one, but I think it depends on how you go about doing this. 5E format is still there. Once you choose the book, what I would suggest is going into this table and deciding which section of the book you want to read. And I think I have a little more information on that in this, kind of how I would suggest you set up your conversations. And either of these are fabulous choices. I think we can get a lot of great details for your classroom from either of them. And I am available to talk through what you think might work best for you.